All right, welcome everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to jump right into today's explainer with you. We're going to be diving deep into a really comprehensive overview of the 2026 machine learning landscape. So we're taking a structured journey today, right from the ground up. We'll start with some basic definitions, then move into the core Python software stack that's basically driving the entire industry right now, and finally we'll launch all the way up to some cutting-edge, real-world applications in clinical trials. So whether you're just starting to map out your learning journey or you're looking to refine your toolkit for production, this explainer is designed to get you completely up to speed on what actually matters this year. Let's get into it.
So here's our quick roadmap for today. We're hitting defining machine learning, the essential 2026 Python libraries, choosing your tool, top trends to watch, and we'll wrap up with real-world clinical impact.
Okay, let's jump right into Section 1, Defining Machine Learning. Now, if you stop a random person on the street and ask them, hey, what does ML actually stand for, the answer you get is going to depend entirely on who you're talking to. It sounds like a simple question, right? But context is literally everything here.
Think about it. If you're looking at a text message from a friend, ML probably means much love or my love. If you're, baking a cake or reading a scientific procedure, it stands for milliliters. But in the tech and business world, ML stands for machine learning. And as our sources define it, this is a core branch of artificial intelligence that enables systems to learn from data and actually improve their performance without being explicitly programmed for every single possible scenario. It's basically about recognizing patterns and making decisions based on experience.
And this is a great way to visualize the hierarchy that honestly confuses a lot of people. It's kind of like Russian nesting dolls. AI is the massive, broad umbrella. It can include everything from old-school rule-based expert systems to complex robotics. Then, inside that, machine learning is a narrower, heavily data-driven subset of AI. It relies on statistical learning algorithms, stuff like regression and decision trees, and it usually works with structured data. And then right at the core, you have deep learning. Deep learning is the most complex layer, built on artificial neural networks that are actually inspired by the human brain. It absolutely thrives on massive amounts of unstructured data, like images, audio, text, and it figures out how to extract features entirely on its own.
All right, moving on to Section 2, our essential 2026 Python libraries. Let's peek under the hood at the software stack making all this a reality.
What's really fascinating here is that these 7 core libraries cover like 90% of the machine learning use cases you're going to run into in 2026. You really don't need to learn 100 different tools, you just need to understand how these 7 interact with each other. NumPy 2.0 is your absolute bedrock for numerical arrays. Pandas 2.2 is where you're going to spend most of your time cleaning and wrangling data. Scikit-learn 1.5, that's the undisputed king of traditional tabular machine learning. For neural networks, PyTorch 2.3 is just dominating research, while TensorFlow 2.17 is still an absolute powerhouse for production and mobile deployment. Need the highest accuracy on tabular data? XGBoost 2.1 is your winner, hands down. And for natural language processing and large language models, Hugging Face Transformers 4.41 is the gold standard.
So the really crucial takeaway is that when it comes to deep learning workloads, PyTorch is overwhelmingly leading the pack. Recent framework reports show it appearing in over 76% of published deep learning implementations. No way, right? Its dynamic computation graph just makes experimentation super easy, and recent updates, like the torch.compile feature, deliver these massive training speedups without you even having to change a line of your model code.
Meanwhile, back down at the foundational data wrangling level, Pandas 2.2 has integrated Apache Arrow as its default backend. Now, this is a huge deal because it delivers a massive 20 to 40% memory reduction for typical datasets. When you consider that data scientists spend, up to 80% of their time just cleaning and prepping data, this efficiency directly translates into way faster project timelines. It's a real game changer.
Which brings us to Section 3, choosing your tool. With all these powerful libraries, it's all about matching your data to the right tech. Let's look at a practical decision tree here, where your data type literally dictates your tool. Say you have a brand new project with structured tabular data, like an Excel spreadsheet. You're going to want to start with Pandas and Scikit-learn. Now, if you need absolute maximum accuracy on that same tabular data, maybe for a Kaggle competition, you reach for XGBoost. If your problem involves text, like classifying or summarizing documents, you combine Hugging Face Transformers with PyTorch. And if you need to push a model onto a mobile phone or an edge device, TensorFlow Lite is your go-to. See, it's all about matching the tool to the specific stage and requirement of your pipeline.
Okay, Section 4, Top trends to watch. Now that our toolkit is sorted out, let's zoom out a bit and look at the major shifts transforming the field in 2026.
Trend number 1 is the explosion of agentic AI. Guys, this is a massive paradigm shift. Instead of just giving you a prediction, like, telling you a customer might cancel their subscription, an agentic AI system actually acts on that prediction from start to finish. It can break down a goal, plan out the steps, draft a personalized retention email, and physically trigger the outreach, all autonomously. We're moving from a quiet little assistant to an active decision maker that is integrated directly into real-world workflows.
The second major trend is the pivot towards small language models, or SLMs. For the last few years, the race was all about building the biggest, most massive model possible, but return on investment is what actually matters in 2026. SLMs are proving that building a smaller, highly specialized model tailored to a very specific problem, like, say, analyzing legal documents or routing IT support tickets, is often way better, cheaper, and faster than trying to use a giant model that tries to do everything. Basically, efficiency and usability are finally beating raw scale.
Another absolutely critical shift is Edge ML versus Cloud ML. By pushing the actual computation out of the centralized cloud and directly onto local devices, we're talking security cameras, industrial sensors, mobile apps, Edge ML drops latency to near zero. I mean, think about it. For autonomous systems or critical healthcare monitoring, you just can't afford the delay of sending data back and forth to a server somewhere. You need real-time intelligence right where the data is being generated.
And finally, Section 5, Real-World Clinical Impact. To really grasp this, let's look at a concrete industry that is actively being revolutionized by these tools today.
Clinical trials are, as you might guess, notoriously complex, but machine learning is streamlining literally every single phase of them. It starts right at recruitment, correlating massive data sets from electronic health records to seamlessly match the perfect patients to the right trials. Then, once the trial is actually live, ML takes over data management, detecting anomalies in real time to ensure patient safety and data quality. Meanwhile, back in the lab, it's powering high-throughput screening, simultaneously analyzing thousands of physical samples using predictive models. It can even simulate different trial designs before they ever even start, optimizing parameters through predictive analytics to ensure a way higher chance of success. It's incredible.
And speed is everything here. To put this into perspective, Bayer developed a centralized adverse event detection engine using machine learning. This system processes incoming medical data and responds in just 170 milliseconds. 170 milliseconds! That near-instant response allows multiple systems and AI chatbots to act immediately if a patient reports a dangerous side effect. That right there is the true power of optimized, production-grade ML in the real world.
I love this quote because it perfectly captures the core takeaway from our sources today. We've officially moved past the era of just showing off impressive benchmarks in an experimental lab somewhere. With these mature Python libraries, super efficient small language models, and solid operations, machine learning is now deeply embedded into mandatory action-oriented operations. It is all about building reliable systems that execute tasks and solve problems end to end.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. But I want to leave you with this final, kind of provocative thought. As machine learning shifts from being a passive tool to an active decision maker, how are you going to leverage this intelligence? Take a hard look at your own projects, your own workflows, and your own data. These tools are more accessible and way more powerful than ever before. Now it's up to you to actually put them to work. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next explainer.